Hello students. Uh, Today we will be discussing about HVDC transmission systems. So before continuing our lecture, we must know the differences between HVDC or AC transmission. HVDC is high voltage direct current transmission systems. This HVDC transmission is much more prevalent these days. As you all know, before HVDC, we were transmitting and distributing power by means of AC supply. So, with the passage of time, more and more technologies are advancing, so more and more methods of transmitting and distributing the power are coming into picture. So one among them is HVDC transmission system. So what actually is HVDC? HVDC is high voltage transmission using DC supply. So we all know as to transfer DC supply, our AC supply is first to be converted into DC supply and then it is transmitted. So if we talk in general, so for transmitting DC supply, we have to first convert AC supply into DC supply. So this is the first thing we need to do uh, with our AC supply. So after transmitting, after conversion, we are doing transmitting phase, and after transmitting phase, which is done at sending end, and whenever we are approaching towards receiving end, again DC supply is reconverted into AC supply, and then this supply is further transmitted to its sub-consumers or consumers. So I think it is clear to all of you that AC is first converted into DC supply, and DC is then converted to AC supply for us to use this. So whole of the picture will be revolving around the converter stations. Like we need to have efficient conversion system so that we can convert maximum supply with maximum accuracy and with maximum efficiency. So, our discussion to the chapter and to the subject as a whole will be concentrating over converter stations only. So, because it is this converter stations which will be converting AC into DC supply, so we will be coming across different kinds of conversions, and whatever we are using, it will be discussed in future lectures also. So let me give you a brief introduction about the topic. First of all, as students, and you need to know what are the differences between AC and the DC supply. So this is the basic question which is being asked in every examination. So student must prepare such type of things, like they have to analyze the things and they have to make differences between AC and DC supply. So, if we discuss about its introduction part, electrical power transmission was originally developed with direct current. So the availability of transformer and the development and improvement of induction motors at the beginning of 20th century let us the use of AC transmission. Uh, as far as DC transmission is concerned, it is now become practical when long distances were to be covered or where cables were required. So basically, in DC transmission, thyristors were used, and solid-state valves become a reality. Because in previous times, it was a major problem for DC transmission how to convert at a large scale, and many problems were encountered. But nowadays, these all the problems are gone. So with the fast development of converters, basically these converters which I discussed previously also, the converters are used for conversion of DC to AC and AC to DC. at higher voltages and larger currents. So if we are talking about converters, always we are talking about rectifiers and inverters. So DC transmission is a major factor in planning of the power transmission. In the beginning, all HVDC schemes were using mercury arc valves, invariably single phase in construction, or in terms of low voltage polyphase units used for industrial applications. So with today the highest functional DC voltage is 600 kV DC supply, which is being used as transmission, and which has now become an integral part of the delivery of electricity in many countries throughout the world. There are few countries also which have uh, shifted towards DC supply only. They are not doing anything in AC supplies. They are basically doing the distribution transmission parts with DC transmission only. So for again to add to our lecture, we need to know economic aspects of DC supply also. So we need to know the merits of transmission and of AC and DC, and both should be compared based upon various factors. So there are certain parameters and factors upon which AC and DC supplies are compared. So one of those factors is economics of transmission. Second one is technical performance, and third one is reliability. For economics of transmission, we will be focusing towards the cost of equipment, cost of conversion, and in AC supply, we will be talking about various things like protection equipments also. So considering and taking into mind those economic aspects, we will be making differences between AC and DC transmission, which one is better. So second one is technical performance, how well you can transmit or convert AC supply to DC supply, and what amount of losses or what amount of faults you are having using DC supply. So these are all will be covered in technical performance. And reliability, of course, the main point while discussing and while giving comparison between AC and DC transmission is reliability part. So you can totally rely on DC or you can totally rely on AC. So it will be discussed in brief while giving certain parameters. So let us now first consider about economics of power transmission. In DC transmission, if we talk, inductance and capacitance of line have no effect on transfer capability of the line and the line drop. So there is no leakage or charging current of the line under steady state conditions. If we talk about a DC supply, it requires only two conductors, whereas AC supply requires three conductors in three-phase AC system. So this also is a cause of if we talk about economics, we are using two conductors in DC and we are using three conductors in AC supply. So the cost of terminal equipment is more in DC lines than in AC lines. So after that, break-even distance is one at which the cost of the system is the same. So if we talk about graphically, so this is shown as below. From the below figure, it is shown that DC line is economical for long distances, which is greater than the break-even distance. So if we see the cost and distance, and the dotted line is for AC supply, and the straight line is for hard line is for DC supply. So as it is known, the economics of AC supply after break-even point rises tremendously, and if we talk about DC supply, it remains almost constant as shown here. The break-even distance for both is 400 to 700 kilometers. So next parameter to be considered is technical performance. Students, again to bring to your notice that these are we are Discussing about these parameters very briefly, we will be discussing about them uh, properly in our next lectures. So, if we talk about technical performance, so due to its fast controllability, so one thing to be added on the DC transmission system is its fast controllability as compared to AC transmission. So okay, this is the point to be noted. So fast controllability. A DC transmission has full control over transmitted power and an ability to enhance transients and dynamic stability as associated with AC networks, and this thing can limit fault currents in DC lines. Furthermore, DC transmission has overcome some of the following problems associated with the AC transmission line. So, first one among them is stability limits. The power transfer in an AC line is dependent on the difference between the line phase voltage at the two line ends. For a given power transfer level, this angle increases with distance, so maximum power transfer is limited by considerations of steady state and transient stability. The power carrying capability of AC lines is inversely so the maximum power transfer is limited by consideration of steady state and transient stability. So as far as AC lines are concerned, the power carrying capability of AC lines is inversely proportional to transmission distance, whereas the power carrying capability of DC line is infected by the same. So larger the distance, as we talk about the AC supply, nothing, no type of thing happens in DC supply. So we can say DC are more stable than AC. So this is a diagram of power versus distance. So when distance increases, the power remains the same in terms of DC supply. And if we talk about AC supply, after certain distance, the power drops, so it has to be boosted up again and again. So to maintain that power level, as you can see here, the power difference between AC and DC is much more, and this is a major factor to be considered while shifting to from AC to DC supply. So other thing to be considered is voltage control. So DC supply offers smooth voltage control as far as AC supply is concerned. Voltage control in AC lines is complicated by line charging and voltage drops. So we have discussed these in our previous semesters also. So the voltage control is complicated by line charging and voltage drops. The voltage profile in AC line is relatively flat for a fixed level of power transfer. So of whole, if we analyze the things, so we can come to the conclusion that the voltage control is much more easy and much more smoothly in DC transmission system. So second, another factor to be considered is line compensation. So line compensation is necessary for long distance AC transmission system to overcome the problems of line charging and stability limitations. So a new generation for coping up with that, the new generation static compensators, STATCOMs, which are known as STATFORMs, are used in case of DC lines. Such compensation is not used. So STATCOMs, the cost of STATCOMs is pretty high as far as AC are concerned. So in case of DC, no such STATCOMs are required. So a major problem with AC is interconnection, which is not a problem in DC transmission. The interconnection of two power systems with AC ties requires automatic generation controllers to both of the for the both systems to be coordinated using tie line power and frequency signals. So with even with the coordinated control of interconnected systems, the ties can be problematic due to certain reasons. So some of these are presence of large power oscillations, which can lead to frequent tripping. So frequent tripping is one of the major causes in AC transmission, which is not present in DC transmission. Increases in fault level in terms of AC transmission. Faults are much more in AC supply. So transmission disturbance from one system to another. So some other are ground impedance also. So DC supply has certain disadvantages also. Um, so some of these are high cost of conversion equipment. So this is if whole of the system has to be converted into DC supply, a lot of cost has to be beared by the government. So the conversion kits are pretty costly as far as Asia concerned. So it adds to the one of the disadvantage of DC transmission. The second one is inability to use transformer to alter voltage levels. So transformers cannot be used. The generation of harmonics. Harmonics are produced frequently in DC supply. So other requirement of the reactive powers also. So these things, if we can neglect these things, so DC supply is better than AC supply. So there are certain equations for energy availability. So it is 100 times of 1 minus equivalent outage time percentage for percentage thing. Transient, if we have to calculate transient reliability, it is given as 100 multiplied by number of times HVDC system performed as designed divided by number of recordable AC faults. So these are things to be considered while shifting from AC to DC supply. So a lot of applications are there for DC transmission system. We will be discussing those in our next lecture. But after completion of this lecture, the students must be able to differentiate between AC and DC supply, and they must also be able to differentiate which is better from AC or DC and why. So these are the certain questions which will be asked in your examination systems. So students will be discussing a lot in our next lecture. Thank you.